Hey guys, this is Andy McCann with CrossFit Garage here in Woodstock, Georgia, coming to you with a question from Jamie from Arizona. She asked, Jack, this is for Andy. So not exactly a health and fitness question, but I listened to a few of your episodes and wanted a short take on your thoughts on youth competitive sports and if it's worth it. Okay, so I'm not sure which ones you listen to because I have got a few episodes where I totally trash it and then also bring it back up. I think, as Jack has said, and anybody will tell you, that really the answer to any question starts with, it depends. So what are your goals? I'm going to go with the idea, though, that you're thinking, hey, youth competitive sports, I'm going to keep pushing my kid and they're going to get a pro contract. So here's the simple trick to know if your kid is any good. If you hear parents and other people randomly say, wow, that kid number 3 is awesome. Who is that? Then your kid is a standout. If you have to fish for the compliment, hey, who do you think's the best on the team? Isn't it maybe my kid? Or if you're the parent telling the coach, why isn't my kid playing more because he's the best on the team? Your kid's not the best on the team. When a kid is singled out by everybody, and you'll know it when you see it, and if you've never seen it, then you've never seen a kid that has the genetics and the motivation to do the sport. That kid can go far. Your kid? Probably not. So is it worth it in terms of can they go pro? Man, there are the chances of making money going pro are so slim. Like, I guess what problem are you solving? I want my kid to be pro because he's famous. I want my kid to be a pro because there's a lot of money. I want my kid to be pro because that's a dream that I had. I mean, what are you solving? If you're thinking to yourself, well, I just want to get a scholarship to go to college. Here's the thing. If you're in Georgia, there's something called the Zell Miller Scholarship and the Hope Scholarship. Basically, if you have good grades, you get to go to college pretty dang cheap. So I would say save your money. So I have 4 kids. They all played club soccer. I paid about $2,000 a year for each of them to play soccer. I have, like I said, 4 kids. That's $8,000. I paid probably for 10 years in club soccer. That's $80,000. What could we have done with that money? So what is the goal you're trying to solve? Is it worth it? Pros? No, probably not. College? Probably not. Just go get the other scholarship, right? Get a smart scholarship. Well, my kid's not smart. Okay, great. Go for that. I would probably aim for a sport that not many people do, and maybe one that has more longevity. Seriously, when's the last time any of us broke out into a soccer game? But a whole hell of a lot of us are playing pickleball. So maybe aim down that route. Now, all that to say, it is worth it if you're looking to build character. So I love the fact that competitive sports creates a false environment, a fake environment where it matters. It doesn't matter. Who cares, right? But it does matter. So as an example, one of my kids got cut multiple times in tryouts, and year to year to year, or season to season, whatever. And he said, you know what? I'm going to make it. And he made it his goal, and he worked his butt off, and he made the team. Another one of my kids got cut, and within 4 years, he was MVP on the team. So what lesson did they learn? Man, my kids learned a pretty dang good lesson. If you want it and hard work will get it, let's do it. But you have to buckle down and do it. Now, the other lesson they learned is I was the star for a moment, and then little Timmy decided he wanted to be the star, and he outpassed my effort. Here's the problem with competitive youth sports. They sell you on the dream, and they will take your money. There's always a harder team that travels more, that goes further, that does more things, that has better kids. Eventually, if your kid is the best kid on the team, you could just move them up to another league, and now they're the worst kid on the team. So your kid that was playing awesome is now playing the bench. I don't know. I would say in general, for the idea of sports, it's not really worth it. Here's the other problem. You don't know what high school is like. We have a high school coach that takes 27 kids for the girls soccer team, says there's a JV team, but there's only one JV game, but everyone has to go to these games, and they're really far traveling because I think we're single A or maybe double A, so they travel like 2 or 3 hours to get to a game, and only 11 girls play, and the other 16 sit on the bench. That's super boring and unmotivating. And some of these kids play high-level club soccer, but most of them play high-level club soccer. And you just don't know what the coach is going to value. I had my kid pulled out of a game because he wasn't popping kids enough when we were losing. And the coach said, I want you to smash kids. And he's like, I don't play like that. So we put a thug in who never even touched the ball or another kid, but he kept trying. But everyone just got out of his way. So you just don't know. It's a mixed bag. If you're going for the sports aspect, probably the wrong idea. If you're trying to teach a lesson, probably a great idea. I think I like the ideas of the 80s where you could play multiple sports, but I get it. If you don't narrow down, you're probably not going to play on your high school team, but I guess who cares? I think if I could go back in time and say, let's do a sport that maybe matters for the long term in terms of athletic endeavor, I'd put them in tennis so they could play pickleball, or maybe put them in Rocket League, which is a computer game where a car plays soccer, because kids can do that out of school and they can do it with their friends. But not many of us just break out into a football game or break out into a random soccer game. I do know adults that still play soccer, and all of them are going to get their ACLs repaired. So, for what's that worth? So it depends on the problem you're trying to solve. Is it worth it? Man, I'm going to go with a no, but I did do an episode with my kids and they all said, yeah, it was worth it. But we also didn't chase the dream, and I let my kids quit when they decided it was time to quit on their own terms. And while I cried on the inside, I didn't belabor them. They just said, hey, I think it's time. I'm like, okay, why? And they had a really good reason why. I mean, Evan, he got accepted into UGA the fall of his senior year. Soccer comes around, it's a spring sport, and he's like, Dad, I already got accepted, so they obviously don't care if I play, and I'd rather hang out with my friends and do something else. I'm like, well, hey, that's valid. Our goal is to get to college. You're not playing soccer in college if you're not enjoying it because it's just not the environment you thought it would be. Well, all right. And so there was a choice to be made there too. He said, hey, Dad, the team is not what I thought it was. We're a Christian school. It should be a lot of like help each other up. But it was a lot of put each other down. And he couldn't change it. And they decided, I don't want to change it. I'm like, great, you made a choice. So, man, I hope that answers your questions. I think what I'll do is create an episode on my podcast that's going to be way longer and go into way more depth. So if you need more of that, go over there and check it out. But Jack, what are your thoughts?